Alright guys, today I want to do a review of my new EDC light. This is the Streamlight Wedge XT. This is the 500 lumen model. I believe they also have a 1000 lumen model. This is the 500. It's a basic EDC light, rechargeable, slim, compact. It's not going to be a lumen or a candela monster. If you're looking for something to punch out to 1 to 200 yards, this is not the light. It's meant for basic tasks, basic EDC tasks. Really a good all-around lumen level in my opinion, and great form factor out of this light. Let's switch over to the desk camera and we'll get some stats on this thing. It is an aluminum body light, weighs in at 2.7 ounces according to my kitchen scale. It is 4.2 inches long, 1 inch wide, and 0.6 inches thick. On high, you get 500 lumens, 1900 candela with a 2-hour runtime. Low, you get 50 lumens, 200 candela with 11-hour runtime. It has an IPX7 rating, meaning it can be submerged in up to 1 meter of water for 30 minutes with no damage. I have not put this thing in any water yet, so we'll see how that works out. It is a rechargeable light. Comes with an included USB-C cord and has a charge indicator light right above the charging port. Little light right there. I'm not sure how I feel about this exposed charging port. I generally like some kind of a cover on there. I know it's waterproof, but for me, it's more of a pocket lint dust type concern. It has a push button tail switch, which I love. Really necessary for me in any EDC light. That is the reason why I never picked up the original Wedge. I think it had a switch here on the side. It was also a little bit longer. I didn't really care for the size on it. This one, for me, tail switch and the length is perfect, and the kind of flat form factor is awesome. Deep carry pocket clip there, puts it all the way down in your pocket versus some of the other lights. You know, I've carried the ProTac 2L forever, kind of sticks up a little bit. So this deep carry pocket clip, it's also got the lanyard there. I don't really use the lanyard. I put it back on for the review, but some people love it. You just kind of tug it out of your pocket. I don't like extra things hanging on it. I like it deep down in the pocket, and I can scoop it out of there if I need to. From the factory, it is set on high beam first, low beam second, as it should in my opinion. Press and hold, momentary, let it go, that's momentary on, or you can click it for high, click twice for low. It also has the Streamlight 10-tap system that allows you to change the orientation of the high-low if you prefer to have low first. Also has 5-tap hold if you ever want to lock this out if you're traveling or for whatever reason. That is kind of one of my only dislikes so far, is that tail switch is very exposed. I wish it was maybe recessed in there a little bit. It has a little bit of knurling right there on the handle, right there on the grip. Kind of gives you a little extra gripping there. Overall, very comfortable in the hand. Very good actuation from the switch. I really like it. Love that tail switch rather. Momentary's nice as well. Design, aluminum body, everything great in my opinion so far. Let's take this thing out to the backyard and do a comparison with a few other EDC lights. My EDC light for the last 2 or 3 years has been the ProTac 2L, less lumens than the XT. I think this one comes in at 350 lumens, but it's always been sufficient for me for EDC carry. I've got 3 or 4 of these. I think I've lost one. I gave one away. I've got this one that lost the clip. Still very good, usable light. The other light that I'm going to compare it to is the Pelican 7100. This one is 695 lumens, so it's got more than the XT. I've also got a Surefire G2X Pro somewhere. I'll go find that. It's a 600 lumen, so a little bit more than the XT. These are all charged up. I'll get out in the backyard and see if we can get a basic comparison of these beams and brightness. All right, first I've got the Streamlight Wedge XT. That fence back there right in the middle is about 28 yards. This playhouse is at about 18 yards. So you can see this thing really just throws a really wide flood. Really lights up the whole backyard. Good light. All right, next I've got the ProTac 2L. It's a little more focus beam, but a pretty good flood as well. That is ProTac 2L. Still pretty good light. Next up, I've got the Surefire G2X Pro. Let's get it on high. There we go. Definitely got more lumens, a little more focused and a lot more flood. Not sure how well that's going to show up, but it's got a lot more lumens anyway. And then last, I've got the Pelican 7100. Let's go full beam, significantly hotter spot, and a big flood as well. So just so you can kind of see a comparison, I'll do the Streamlight Wedge XT one more time. That is on high, so good flood, plenty of power for a little EDC light. And this is the Streamlight Wedge XT at 10 yards up against the side of my house. You can see it's a pretty wide flood. 10 yards, that's full, high, that's low, high, and a little black lab sniffing around, but tons of light at 10 yards. All right, so as you can see, this thing's got a pretty broad beam, kind of a flood, wall of light, as a lot of people would say. I think it's a great light, great beam for an EDC light. It's not a tactical light, so it's not going to really punch out there if you're looking for a more focused beam and something with more power. This is not the one. As far as EDC goes, that flat profile I think is awesome. It really just kind of goes unnoticed in the pocket versus all of the other round lights that I've had. You can always feel those, you kind of know they're there. This one's there, but it's much more comfortable. I love that flat form factor. The other thing I really like about this is the pocket clip is screwed directly into the light, kind of like the pocket clip on a knife. And if for some reason, I've had knives that get snagged on stuff, you got to unscrew them, bend that thing back and screw it back in, Loctite it in. But at least you're, with me, as I said before, the ProTac 2L, this one that I've had for years, I lost the pocket clip. It kind of pops on and off as it sees fit, and that one's gone. So this one will not pop off, and hopefully it stays with it for the life of the light. Really, overall, I love this light so far. I've had it for, I don't know, almost a month, been carrying it every day. I've dropped it a couple times. I've had Streamlights that I've used as impact tools, beat the crap out of them. They're all pretty solid. I think this one will be too. The only real con I can find is the charging port exposed. I don't know if that's a real con or not. We'll see over time whether it gets gunked up with stuff. Also, I'd really love to see a little bit of recessed area around this light. They're not big complaints, but they are just small critiques. But otherwise, my experience so far has been great, and I really like it. I think this will be my EDC light going forward. Maybe I'll do a follow-up video in a year or so and see how it holds up. Anyway, pick this thing up, Amazon, 85 bucks. Not cheap, but still, I think worth the money. Cheaper than a Surefire. Anyway, I appreciate you guys watching. Pick you up one of these if you're looking for a good EDC light, and take it easy.